The crypto market is an extremely volatile place. For a new investor, it's always not recommended to sink your toes into the choppy waters of cryptocurrency. In this video, I'll explain the recent market volatility and whether you should be afraid. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Thong and I'm an incoming Year 1 dental student based at the National University of Singapore. And on this channel, we explore the strategies and tools that help us live healthier and happier lives. On a separate note, I just had my orientation this week and it has been pretty fun so far. Without further ado, let's jump straight into today's topic. In my previous video on cryptocurrencies, I have briefly touched on what Bitcoin is. To recap, my investment thesis for Bitcoin is that it is a worldwide digital currency with no central bank or authority, and it has low cost to process payment because there is no middleman besides the miners. Anti-inflationary as a result of the fixed supply of 21 million, low correlation to stocks to diversify my portfolio, which is highly concentrated in equities. If we were to review this investment thesis which I've made, point 1, 3 and 4 still remains, because that is the inherent nature of Bitcoin as published in a white paper by Satoshi. What is problematic, however, is point 2. In the past, it is easy to mine coins because there is lower adoption and therefore fewer miners. With halving and an increasing number of transactions and miners, it requires more electricity to solve these complex math problems. In fact, Bitcoin's annual energy consumption amounts to 128 terawatt hours, according to Science Sealer, more than the entire consumption of Norway. And with more than 65% of Bitcoin's network hash rate in China and a majority in Sichuan because of the cheap energy powered by coal. Last week, China issued an order to stop energy companies from supplying power to mining farms in Sichuan. Consequently, Bitcoin hash rate dropped severely. In addition, the central bank has also requested that banks do not participate in crypto-related businesses as part of a nationwide effort to clamp down the industry. And the reason? China is rolling its own digital currency, and Bitcoin's decentralized nature is a direct opposition to China's political stance. With that backdrop in mind, let's address the elephant in the room. Is there hope in cryptocurrency, and should you sell your holding? Personally, I am convicted in my investment thesis and think that moving forward, crypto will become an asset class of its own, not a medium of exchange, but a storage of wealth. With regards to China's ban on the mining farms, I believe that the miners will just relocate their farms to somewhere else overseas to circumvent this problem, because Bitcoin's inherent nature still remains. I'm a strong believer of knowing what you're investing in, and that is why personally I only have 2 stocks in my portfolio, with a majority of my portfolio in index fund. And I always encourage my fellow investors to be convicted in their purchasing decisions, and especially so for an extremely volatile asset class like crypto. This is so that during a crash like this, investors will not panic sell but instead hold on to their assets, and if they have extra cash, average down their overall costs. A strategy which I advocate is to dollar cost average when a buying opportunity presents itself. During this market crash, when there is an opportunity, an investor should, if they have spare cash, average down their costs. You will never know when the lowest point is, and that was a mistake I made during this crash. I went in too early. In hindsight, it's easy to reprimand myself. However, when it happened, it is difficult as the mentality was, what if it goes up? Hence, by dollar cost averaging, it might reduce your total cost. Another thing to note is that paper loss is not real loss. That is one thing I must reiterate. Doesn't matter how much the market tank, as long as you know your investment thesis well and you're convicted in the long term, it will succeed. I hope with this video, you'll be long-term investors with strong convictions in your investments. If you like this video, you'll enjoy this custom playlist I've made that has my most popular videos on finance that has changed the way I spend and invest my money. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you later.